I've spent thousands of hours playing video games. I've explored worlds that doesn't exist, met people who were never real, and made decisions inside places that were nothing more than a bunch of codes. And yet, it never felt fake. Lately, I've been going down a bit of a philosophical rabbit hole, and it made me look at video games from a completely different angle, as things, because more I thought about it, the weirder the question became. What is a video game? Are they just lights that show up on your screen and make you think something's there? And at what point does a video game stops being a video game and becomes nothing more than just some words sitting in a hard drive? What is video game? Do video games exist? Okay, first of all, comes across this question. What is even a video game? The interesting part is, the more you try to define it, the more it starts to fall apart. Okay, let's break it down. Video games have layers: 3D modeling, texturing, coding, game design, sound design, even purpose. Each layer contains even more layers. For example, 3D. I found this definition online. I'm gonna read it out loud. 3D modeling is the process of creating three-dimensional digital objects through various techniques including polygon modeling and sculpting, with considerations for optimization, texture mapping, and level of detail. Implementation for real-time applications. This explains what 3D modeling is, but it doesn't really answer how it works. How does this actually becomes visible on the screen? There is a quote from Galileo, which he said, "Mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe." This is also in line with 3D graphics. There is no such thing as a real object in 3D world. Everything you see in your favorite game is just a result of a pipeline. In this part, I'll lean more into the technical side. I'll start with the simple part: vertices. When you look at a car or a tree or even a chair, it feels like you are looking at an actual object, right? Well, not exactly. Computer doesn't see any of those things. It's just points in space. Points is nothing more than just a location in geometric space. It's just numbers. It has no size, so therefore there is nothing bigger or smaller than a point. So they are used to define where objects located. This information is really important for setting out how every object will look. This is when GPU comes to save the day. To put it in simple words, the GPU takes those points and transforms them into something that can be displayed on your screen, from 3D space into screen space. 3 points define a triangle, and everything you see in modern 3D is ultimately rendered as a triangle. The connection between those points are edge. And when all of those edges are displayed together, you get what is known as wireframe. For a better understanding, here is some screenshots and real-time wireframe footages from different video games. This is one of the stages where all that mathematical data starts becoming something that eventually appear on your screen. GPU determines which pixel on the screen are covered by each triangle, then converts those triangles into pixels that can be displayed on the screen. Then the GPU fills in those shapes, and by arranging all those triangles together, a 3D artist can create something like an axe. Each image you see is just a 2D output of millions of mathematical calculations happening inside the GPU. But the difference is you can walk into this 2D output and you get the illusion of a real 3D space. Okay, I don't want to get too technical in this video, but let's open up texturing and UV mapping a bit more. Let's say you want to make a brick wall for your game. You can't build millions of bricks just to make a wall. Instead, you can put a brick wall image into the mesh and it gives you the illusion of a wall. So now I gave this wall a brick texture, but the computer still doesn't know where that image should appear on the model. The texture is just an image. The computer doesn't know where that image should appear on the model. So it needs a map. UV map tells the computer this part of the model uses this part of the image. It's like opening a cardboard box, spreading it out, drawing on it, and then folding it back up. But the important thing is that the texture isn't actually part of an object, it's just information being wrapped around it. Okay, I was really shallow into the texturing part. I don't want to get too technical into this video. The video would become too long and overly technical, but this was only the visual part. Once you start seeing things like that, you start to wonder if what we see on the surface is just information being projected onto it, then what exactly is the object? As I said at the beginning, I've been lately really into philosophy. I'm going to look at this from a slightly different perspective, because what we just saw in graphics isn't really a special case. It's just one example of a much bigger question I kept running into it. We keep breaking things down into smaller and smaller parts until we're no longer sure what's the thing actually was in the first place. This is exactly where philosophy has been stuck for a very long time. It's called the ship of Theseus paradox. Imagine I buy a ship and name it Theseus. After a few years of use, the parts eventually wear out and I need to replace them with new parts. After like 15 years, I might come to the conclusion that every part of my ship, it's no longer the part from the day I bought it. Let's say the guy replacing the parts kept all the old pieces and builds another ship from them. Now, which one is the original? Do I still own the same ship? Which one is Theseus? Both? Most people accept that, for example, Resident Evil 4 Remake, it's a remake. It's two different games entirely. We can connect some Theseus paradox into remake games, but video will get unnecessarily longer. What is interesting to me is older games getting updated throughout time. For example, like Minecraft. Is this Minecraft or this? If we put 2009 Minecraft and today's Minecraft together, which one is the real one? If you look at it this way, biomes have changed, new creatures have been added, new systems have been added, graphics have changed. Maybe the entire code has been rewritten. If everything about it can change, then what exactly are we still pointing at when we say Minecraft? If they are only symbols and they never compose anything, maybe neither is Minecraft. Neither was even a game. All that happened throughout these years is some objects and codes and files got moved around. There is no single piece of the game you can remove that suddenly make it stop being a game. You can't tell which one of these objects is the game. The removal of no specific code or object will stop it from being Minecraft, because there is no Minecraft here and it never was. there are only billions of codes and numbers arranged in a way that behaves like a game. If you believe there are some electrons and mathematics lead to a fun experience, then you admit there is a video game. Because that's just what a video game is. In a video game, each part and outcome do not continues to be a single phenomena or code or a pixel, but collectively at the end of the day, together all become one thing, a video game. So it seems fair to say that video games do exist. But my mind keeps going in different direction and starts to disagree with that idea. I talk about a video game as if it's a single thing, as if there is a game sitting somewhere. But that gesture feels too easy, right? When we say this game, what are we pointing at? Disk? Well, that's just storage. Code? That's just instructions. When we have two games, we say these games. We're not calling this game these games. Does that make sense? And suddenly I'm back where I started. Maybe even two games could be merged into one exported file. Now it's just one game. Before we get into the next part, I want to make something clear now. I don't claim to be a philosopher or a psychologist. This stuff just fascinates me. I just love this stuff. Okay, let's get back to the video. Most of the time, brain doesn't always recognize between imagination and reality. Your conscious side of the brain knows, but under the rug, it doesn't know the difference. We have mind's eye when you visualize something, or mind's ear when you remember a music. If you crave a glass of water or playing a video game, it's likely that you will visualize it, and that visualization maybe ramp up the craving. For example, in this video, Adam Zeman said, quote, "If you look at the sun, your pupils constrict. If you imagine looking at the sun, your pupils also constrict. If you imagine looking into a dark room, your pupils will slightly dilate." For example, as in this video, Adam Zeman says, if you look at someone's face, a particular part of brain activates. If you imagine that face, the same particular parts will activate. When you play a game like Red Dead 2 and you walk through a forest and look at the mountains, brain engage system related to spatial awareness and visual processing activates in a way that particularly overlaps with how it would respond in a real environment. To make it clear, it's not identical to real-life perception, but there is a measurable overlap in how the experience is constructed in the brain. For example, when I'm playing Red Dead 2, I'm not thinking about whether it's real or not. I'm thinking about what I'll do next. In single-player story-based game, I put myself into the character's shoe. I'm not controlling Arthur Morgan. I am Arthur Morgan. I finished the game 3 times and I never shot a lawman in head. I would aim for the arm or the leg instead, with the huge feeling of guilt. It felt like I was making decisions based on my moral weight that belonged to that world. Or Skyrim. That felt even more like it. Main story was a threat that I had to deal with. When I was exploring caves, fighting draggers, I was killing draggers. I was the Dragonborn. But still, it doesn't feel quite good enough. If something can feel this real without being real in the physical sense, then what exactly do we mean by real in the first place? Thank you very much for making it this far. Thanks for watching. If this even makes sense, please tell me I didn't just yap for like 15 minutes and nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about.